of how I was haunted in New Orleans and my friend got possessed. All right. So I am going to say, after we left that voodoo shop, everything went downhill for me. And it was weird because...
And so, please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me always. Money coming in all day. Money coming in all pay. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just...
Hey y'all, welcome back to All Things Jenny. I'm Jenny. The spirit followed me home. Whenever you are in a New Orleans shop, do not touch anything, especially an altar, because you just might have to learn the hard way. Let's get into it. Welcome back to another episode of Spooky Story.
Whenever they tell y'all to take heed when y'all go to New Orleans and watch out what you're doing, it's not a joke and you should really listen. I've had something happen to me about 5 years ago that I have been very hesitant to speak on because it's quite scary and it really happened, and it really mind boggles me that it actually happened. Just a disclaimer, I am very Christian. I believe in God to the fullest and I worship him with everything. So this story does have a little bit of demonic things going into it, but I myself am not. This is just things that have happened to me and I'm just sharing my experiences. So about 5 years ago, we had a hurricane here in Lake Charles, Louisiana, which is where I'm from. And during the hurricane, my home was destroyed, all that. So we were living in New Orleans in hotels until FEMA trailers were provided, homes were fixed, things like that. So I was in New Orleans from about beginning of September to the end of November. While I was there, a lot of paranormal, highly spiritual, high demonic things happen. It all started, and I know a lot of y'all gonna be like, this is crazy, why would you have even done that? Mind you, I was 19 at the time. I didn't know no better. I was out there with my friends. I didn't have no family out there. My friends were my family, and we were really just exploring, having fun, trying to make the best of our time while we were there. And I was also not as close to God as I am now as I was then. So we went to Marie Laveau's voodoo shop that is on Bourbon Street. When we walked in, I felt a little off. I was already kind of scared to go in there. It was not my initial idea to go in. It's just that we were with a group of people and they kind of went in. I kind of was like very hesitant because I knew a lot about voodoo already. I do have an auntie who passed, but she used to practice voodoo, and I heard a lot of stories about her growing up. So I was just overall very fearful, but I still went inside because I was like, really, what's the worst that can happen? I'm just going in here. So we're looking around, all the things. I try not to touch anything, y'all, because I don't know the power of anything, that anything holds in there. I knew that everything was used for dark magic and I wasn't trying to touch it. So I didn't touch anything. But I did end up coming across the altar that they have in there. I did go by the altar and I did look at it for a while. I did not leave an offering and I did not touch it. I know that it said that you're supposed to leave an offering, supposed to leave something, but I know for sure you're not supposed to touch it, and I did not touch it, y'all. I didn't. But I am going to say, after we left that voodoo shop, everything went downhill for me. And it was weird because even though we were all there, I swear I don't think anyone else that was with me experienced what I experienced but me. I'm going to come back in part 2, and I'm going to get into details about all the things that happened, because y'all, we might be here for a minute. Okay, y'all, so part 2 of how I was haunted in New Orleans and my friend got possessed. All right. So we've left the Voodoo shop by now, and mind you, because we were displaced, we were staying in hotels, as I mentioned before. So maybe some days had passed, not too many, just a few days had passed or so. And me and one of my best friends were sleeping in my hotel room at the time. So it was a king bed, and she slept on one side and I slept on the other far end of the other side. And it's the middle of night, so we're sleeping, So as I am trying to sleep, I feel being choked, like hardly choked. And because I was being choked, I woke up. I immediately look over at my best friend and I'm like, did she just choke me? Because there's no way. But she is, y'all, she passed out. She's knocked out asleep. So I look over on the other side of me, and there he is. There was a tall man figure, whatever. It was a tall man standing over me. But I'm not going to say he was a figure, because I clearly remember what he looked like, y'all. I can clearly tell you what he had on. So I don't really know what the outfit is called, but have y'all ever seen like in Africa when they wear like those, I don't know if it's Africa. I really don't know where it's at. I'm gonna just say Africa, but correct me if I'm wrong. Where they wear like those full grass suits from head to toe. Let me see if I can figure out what it's called, and I'm gonna come back. I couldn't get the name of it, but I know that it's done at the masquerade festivals that they hold. And it's, you know, the full body thing where you can't really see the face too well, but it's like covering from head to toe, and it's like very dramatic, all right? So the man was wearing that, similar to that, but it was bandanas. It was like a full bandana outfit, and it kind of reminded me of something that they were wearing like Mardi Gras maybe, like, just like, I don't know what they call it during Mardi Gras either, y'all, because I'm Lake Charles. They don't do Mardi Gras like that. Not like they do it out there, but yeah. So he just had full bandana outfit, but I could still see his face a little. Like the bandana was like right here, but you could still see his grimace and you could still see his eyes, but then the bandana covered that. So he had this part exposed of his face. Y'all, he was standing over me smiling, and instantly I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm tripping. So, y'all, I get to rub my eyes. I'm like, this not real. He's still there. So, I was scared as hell, but I knew that it wasn't a real person actually there, because I just knew it wasn't. Like, I don't know. I could just tell that whatever it was demonic, and I could tell that it wasn't real. In a sense. So I just covered the covers with my eyes, and I continued to act like I was sleeping. But y'all, that's just the first weird thing that happened. Now what I'm finna tell y'all next, this is where it gets real. This is where things got completely freaky. Completely. All right, y'all, so part 3 of how I was haunted and my friend got possessed while in New Orleans. So after that hotel, I would say maybe a couple weeks later, I was moved into a different hotel. And this is where things got weird. So I know a lot of people have talked about seeing this shadow man with the hat. A lot of people, and I've seen something on TikTok recently, a lot of people were saying how they've seen this man before, they've seen this man before, they've seen this man. Well, that shadow man with the hat was in my next hotel room. But what was weird was I was not the only person seeing him. People would come and spend the night, because like I was there with my friends, y'all. So some of my friends would come and spend the night, and y'all, they were seeing him too. They were literally telling me it looked like somebody is standing in the corner. Like, I felt like somebody was watching us while we were sleeping. Somebody was standing in the corner. So that's when I'm like, all right, I ain't tripping. Something is in here. But I know better than anybody else and the next person to know that whenever you know that there's spirits presence in your and think that the best thing to do most of the time is just ignore them and act like they don't exist, because they normally cannot mess with you unless you give them permission to. All right. So like I told y'all, I was there for a long time. I was in that specific hotel room for almost a month. So about a month or so, I'm just in there. I'm seeing this shadow man every night. Eventually I just kind of got used to it, and then things started getting more creepy. So I ended up switching hotel rooms again for the third time, because they kept having condense. It was a lot going on. So in my new room, he followed me there to the new room, which I thought was pretty odd, because I thought that maybe the only reason why I was seeing him over there is because he was a ghost of that hotel. But apparently he wasn't a ghost of just that hotel. He was just the ghost that wanted me at the time. I don't know. I don't know. So that's when things started getting even more weird. So he did follow me to the next hotel, and I stayed there until it was time to leave. I did switch rooms at that hotel, but I stayed in that hotel the entire time I was there. Things started moving by themselves. Things were randomly, like, noises were randomly being made. It felt like, I don't know how to explain it, because it's really like y'all, like, I mean, like, you know how something is just thrown across the room, like, just things was just happening, that it was in that moment that I know that that spirit was trying to make himself present. He wanted me to acknowledge that he was there. And then, like, the TV would just be randomly cutting off. There was nothing wrong with the power. It would just, like, it's like somebody was just turning the TV off on me all the time. And I just kept ignoring it, y'all. I just kept ignoring it, because I'm like, So one day, me, my best friend, and a few of my other friends that were guys and stuff, they were there, and we were all hanging out. My best friend went for a walk downstairs or something like that, and she came back. And when she came back, she was just acting very funny, like, and we were just really like, what's going on with you? So we thought Shawty had got laced or something, because at the time we all smoked. I mean, I don't do that now, but at the time I did. And so we just like, okay, she must have like smoked with somebody down there, some random person, and they done laced her, because we done seen people get laced in New Orleans before. Like, it's not uncommon to get laced. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? People just, they just don't care about other people's well-beings. So the guys that we with, they instantly like, oh, hell no, we going downstairs. We going to find out who did this. Ain't no way they done laced her. She in here tripping. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So they left, and it's just me and her in the room. And I'm just like, you know, watching her or whatever, making sure she good, making sure nothing happens to her, make sure she don't pass out. You know, I just got to make sure my friend good. So at the minute they left, she gets up and she looks at me, and she was like, you got to get out of New Orleans. You got to get out of New Orleans. I was like, what is you talking about? She like, you got to get out of New Orleans. You got to get in New Orleans. And then right after she said that, y'all, I don't know what happened, but who was speaking to me? That was not my best friend. That didn't sound like my best friend. That was not her voice. That she was not in her right mind. That was a completely different person, y'all. I swear for everything. Y'all, I'm about to tell y'all. Go to part 4. Alright, y'all, so this is part 4 of how I was haunted and my best friend got possessed while we was in New Orleans. So, like I said, that voice that was in my best friend, that was not my best friend, y'all. it was completely different than her regular voice. The voice kind of reminded me of just like a lady of a different time. Definitely had to be from maybe the 20s, or even actually before that. Could have been the 1800s. Honestly don't know what time frame she came from, but the voice was very elegant. I'm not gonna lie, it was very elegant, but it was very distinct, and it was very much of not this time. There was no slang being said. It was no, and to say we were in New Orleans, they had no type of like Cajun or French accent. Not really, at least. It wasn't no accent or nothing. Like, it was like one of the things she said, because she was talking to me, she's like, darling, like, just, darling, if I could do this, then, like, I don't know, y'all get what I'm saying, but shorty had a different voice, okay? So she started talking in this voice and whatnot, just completely different. She's looking, we're in the bathroom, mind you, at this time, because we moved to the bathroom, because she came in the bathroom, because I was sitting on the toilet, and she came in the bathroom, and she was sitting on the edge of the tub, and she's looking in the corner, and she's like, no, you can't have her. And I'm like, who the hell shawty talking to? Because ain't nobody right there, y'all. It was literally just some space. So I'm like, who the hell she talk to? And she's like, no, y'all never take her. You'll never take her. And then she look at me, and she's like telling me who she's talking to, because I'm asking her, I'm like, who you talking to? She said, the boys. She was like telling me that basically, I'm going to just sum up what she said. The shadow man that I was seeing was not actually a shadow man, but a disguise to scare me. Because if I were to see children, I would be less fearful. I don't understand that. But there were two little boys that she was talking to. And the reason why that they were haunting me as a shadow man was because they wanted me to be fearful. They wanted me to kill myself, which I was very depressed at that time. But I thought I was depressed because of all the things I had going on. But apparently they were sucking my energy and trying to make me depressed because they wanted me to kill myself and come to live with them. She said that I reminded them of their mother, who was a slave, and their father, who was a slave master. Their mother used to get raped by the father, and that is how they came about. The reason why they wanted me to come down there with them is because they no longer had their mother with them. And I don't know where she was. I don't know. Maybe she went to heaven and they didn't. I really don't know. But their mother was not with them. And they felt like I reminded them of their mother because of my weakness. Because the boys, for some reason, knew that I had been SA'd before. And just like their mother who had been SA'd, it reminded them of them. And they thought I would be a perfect fit for them. Very, very creepy that some ghosts wanted me to kill myself, but I'm still here, so. She also was like, you need to wear a cross. She said, you have something about you. She was like, something very special. And if I could have it, I would take it, but I can't have it, so you need to protect it. She was like, God is always with you, but you need to protect yourself. And I was just like, So at this point, I'm really confused because I'm like, all right, I don't know if this is real or fake at this point. Because not only did my friend just get possessed by something, the thing that's possessing her is trying to help me. So then I'm really getting freaked out because I'm like, I'm really confused, y'all. I'm 100% confused. But yet I knew my friend was possessed because it was not her voice. There was no way possible she could have made that voice because it was literally not her voice. And she's not a voice actor, y'all. She don't know how to do that. So after that, she told me some more information, but I'm going to keep that private to myself because I felt like that was a personal thing. But anyways, after she finished talking and doing all that, I'm still just freaked out, like, because I was trying to engage. I was engaging in conversation with her, but I was just getting more and more freaked out because I'm still at this point, like, this is not my friend, y'all. This is not my friend. So I start slapping my friend in her face. I mean, when I tell y'all I slapped the shit out of her, I slapped the hell out of her. And y'all, when I slapped her, her face didn't even turn. I slapped her, she did this. She just looked at me. So then I'm like, oh, hell no. So I'm like, maybe she is laced. And I was like, let me get her some milk, because I heard that milk at the time would take your high down. Try to get her to drink the milk. She ain't want to drink the milk. That ain't work. So then I was like, okay, let me run her under some water. So I took her shirt off of her and I had pushed her into the tub and I let the water run on her. And right before this is what's crazy, y'all. She still was in it, still talking like this, still saying crazy stuff. The boys was just about to walk into the room. She snapped up out of it. She looked at me. She said, why I'm in the shower? And why do you have water running on me? What's going on? And she's like, where's my shirt? And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you don't remember what just happened? And she like, what are you talking about? Y'all, she didn't know nothing that happened. Nothing that happened. She doesn't remember a piece of anything. And what sucks is I was the only person in the room to tell her what happened. But she does remember one thing. She remembers that she doesn't remember what happened because she knows that she like kind of blacked out in the moment. And she also slept for 3 days straight after that. She said she felt entirely drained. She had to sleep for 3 days straight. Come back for part 5 and I will tell y'all the last bit of the story because it got even more crazier after that. Right, this is the last and final part 5 of how I was haunted and my friend got possessed while we were in New Orleans. So after the days had passed, I had a lot to think about over those days. I'm just in my head about what happened. I was trying to forget about it, but I really couldn't because everything that was said was really like sitting on me heavy. I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, y'all. I'm not going to say the paranormal stuff stopped directly after that because I did still see the shadow man in my room. But I knew who it was. But because I knew who it was, I think things actually got a little bit worse in the time period because that's when the spirits started making themselves more pronounced. Even though I still knew it wasn't the boys, they still never made themselves present. It was still always that shadow man figure. But I after all the weird things happening in the room, like things get thrown around, things get turned off, things just being messed up, I had a feeling it had to been kids then there because I'm like, this is just, it was that stuff kids do, you know, that's all they know how to do. So then after that, I come to my best friend about it, to her. I'll tell, you know, we talked about the situation some more, this and that and the third. And I'm like, look, I need to get these spirits off of me. I need to find a way to get these spirits off of me. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to talk to. I don't want to go and talk to nobody who does voodoo out here because I don't know. They could have been the one that put it on me. Like, I don't really know because even though I said everything happened after I went to the voodoo shop, there are plenty of people up and down Bourbon Street that know how to do voodoo magic and stick things on you. So I really didn't know, y'all. So that's when we had the bright idea, and it was said, she was like, we was looking up things on how to do this, how to get rid of them, how to tell them to flee, and the idea of a seance came up. And a seance was the last thing that I wanted to perform, but at that point I felt like I had no other option, and I wasn't as close to God as I was then. So I didn't think that maybe I could just pray it away or I could go to a priest about this. And quite frankly, I was very ashamed of what happened because I felt like no one was going to believe me. So it just really got weird. So we did do the seance. I remember exactly how it was done. I'm not going to tell y'all how it was done because I'm not going to teach y'all how to do one. I don't recommend ever doing that in your life because you can actually come in contact with things that have nothing for you. But with all being said, so as we're preparing for our seance, we turned off all the lights, things and that. We lit our candles. I'm freaking out, but I'm like, this has to work. So whenever she turned the lights off, I do remember my best friend was like, Danica, it's right behind you. It's right behind you. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, it's right behind you. She started crying. And she was like, turn the light on. So they turned the light on, and I'm like, what's going on? She was like, the shadow man, he was standing right over you. He was standing right behind you. I was like, oh my God, hell no. Like, let's hurry up and get this done, because now I'm really getting creeped out. And the fact that you're seeing things now, and it's weird though, because she didn't really have a lot of seeing things. She had her own personal experience. Now, I'm not going to sit there and tell y'all all of her personal experience. This I was allowed to talk about because I got permission and it happened to both of us. So she allowed me to talk about it. Plus, I am the only person who knows mostly of what happened. So, but she's seen them. So I'm like, oh no. So as we sit in our circle getting ready for our seance, I remember everything got instantly cold, y'all. Cold. I was freezing cold. I was crying, shaking, and freezing cold. And I hadn't even come in contact or started talking to anything. Mind you, the only person that was talking to anything in that room was her. We did have a couple other people in the room with us as well, though. They were there for moral support. But I'm sure they both remember their personal experiences with this, because something was said to each and every one of us in that room that there's no way she would have known, but she was being shown things. It was very weird. So throughout the seance, she came in contact with my grandfather, my great-grandfather. She said some things to him. She was telling me that she was being guided towards a light or a lighthouse or something like that, and they had people reaching out, trying to touch her, and they were like trying to get help, and the thing that was guiding her was telling her no, like telling them no, you can't get help or things like that. I don't know, y'all. It was weird. When she finally was able to make contact, she did tell the spirits to leave me alone, and I said it out of my mouth too, and that they had no room there for me, that they couldn't be there, like they were not allowed. And eventually, once it was over, everything seemed to go back to normal. That was the most freakiest experience I had ever experienced in my life. That is the most demonic and paranormal thing as ever done in my life. I would never ever partake in those things again. And quite frankly, I do still visit New Orleans from time to time, but I am still afraid each time I go. But I know that I have the Jesus with me now more than I had then. I have him now because I got myself saved, okay? So I'm not like so fearful, but I'm not gonna say I'm fearful. I'm gonna play this. I'm not fearful. I am very mindful of what I do and where I go when I'm there. Just my overall thing is to let y'all know, please take heed when y'all go there, because there are things that can happen and you don't know how powerful you are until something is coming after you. You don't know what God placed in you, what gifts that you have. You don't know anything. You just don't know what is going to come after you. You doesn't know what wants what you have. You might be the most regular person in the world, and it does not mean nothing to these spirits out there. Just be mindful, and do not, I repeat, do not let curiosity kill the freaking cat. Don't go into that voodoo shop, all right? Now that's all I had to say.
I'm gonna try this for the second time because when I recorded the first time, it was no audio recorded. But now I'm just gonna speed it up. This is what happened when the ghost followed me home from New Orleans. When we were leaving New Orleans and we were all in the car, I felt that there was a man with me, and I told everybody in the car that there was a man with us, and we all did our own little separate prayers to try to get him to go ahead and stay where he was at, and he couldn't come with us, right? Of course, sometimes it doesn't always work depending on the people that you're around and all that. So I get back to Atlanta. About 3-4 days after that, things start moving around in my house, okay? One, I start realizing that there's somebody peeking around corners in here like this. And I would see shit like this. So after seeing that a lot, I started to acknowledge the spirit, like, who are you? What do you want? Get out, you know? And then it started touching stuff in here. So this was me and my girlfriend was going through this, where we will be sitting somewhere alone and things start moving around in the house. There was a time where I was sitting over here on this couch, and all the way across the room over here, I saw my shoe slowly lean and fall off of something. There was a different time I was sitting right here on the couch, and you see that bag over there? That bag is hooked onto some clips. It unhooked itself and fell to the floor. Dead silent in here. I'm chilling, sitting on the couch by myself, and I just have to look up and be like, stop touching shit, right? So this was the ongoing thing for about a week and a half in my house. Was like things were moving around. They didn't have no business moving around. And I talked to my girlfriend about it. She had been seeing something walking around in the house. Things had been moving around, and she had felt something poke her. Now, this is when I knew that it was getting serious. I could feel him, and I could see things about him in my mind's eye. I could see what he looked like. I could see about how old he was. I could see what his energy was like. I could see what he was wearing. So I was starting to get a feel and an idea for him and like why he was around. Wasn't a bad guy at all, kind of like a guy that like died young in his early 20s, and I was just the only light that he could see in that area, so he followed me all the way home. But I was laying in the room, right? I went to go take a nap. My girlfriend told me like, go ahead and take a nap. So I went in the room to take a nap. She was out here in the kitchen where I'm currently at. I'm in the bedroom on the end of the bed taking a nap, right? Laid underneath her like this extra little blanket or whatever, just laying on the end of the bed. I felt her walk into the room, and you know, you can kind of hear the air change or whatever, like when somebody's coming close to you. I felt her and heard her walk into the room, and it felt like she walked into the room, looked at me, noticed I was asleep, and then touched my head and gave me a kiss and walked out. Now, when she walked in, when I heard her walk in the room, I woke up. My eyes was closed, but I woke up. I thought she was going to ask me something. So I woke up, and I felt the fingertips touch the back of my head, and I felt my head kind of get this weird little tingle on the inside, and I felt the really, really light. And I turned directly around, and the room was empty. So I sat up, and I said, oh, okay. Came out here and noticed she was in the kitchen. Told her what happened as soon as it happened, right? So after that, I honestly sat in here one day when he started moving shit around again and fucking with the lights. Like, he was making the lights flicker and stuff. So I told him that he had to leave. But the thing about me is I don't just like banish spirits to go and you know, haunt somebody else. I send you on your way. So I called in my angels and my spirit guides and my ancestors to come in and help this guy move on if he was willing to do so. And he was willing to do so. He just didn't know where to go or how to do it. So we helped him. He moved on. He's gone. My house is clean. That was the spirit I brought with me from New Orleans. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this experience. If you went to New Orleans and brought something back with you, if you're from New Orleans, if you've ever been haunted, if you're a medium, whatever, let me know in the comments.
Hey guys, I'm Jenny, and this is Shameless Plug. So I want to tell you guys about my Crown of Success manifestation book with easy, simple rituals and spells to manifest a life of abundance in your life. And those spells are so easy, even a child can do it. So this book is filled with different spells that I've learned over the years from my family, passed down from grandma and everything. And also those are spells that I've actually tried and I know that they work. So this book not only teach you step by step on the things that you can do that are so easy that a child can do it, but it tells you like the proper moon phase to use, alchemy, manifesting with numbers, numerology, and also the days of the week that best fit for this particular spell. So it tells you the timing of when to practice the spell, the days of the week, the moon phase. It shows you all the colors of the candles that you should be using and different planets. So for example, I show you like planet Jupiter is for Thursdays and the hours of the days that you should be doing the spell. So this is an easy road opener spell. So I know a lot of people like to do like different spell work, but if your roads are blocked, of course your spells are not going to work. So it's good to unblock yourself first and then start using the spell, especially with the new years and the new days to come. And also I have some amazing spells in here. This is a powerful quick money spell. So if you're in a bind for some money and you're just trying to get some money, and I even have some easy powerful spell to win game of chance. So if you are a gambler, now I don't promote gambling, but if you are a gambler and you're just trying to make some money and trying to make sure you win, these spells will definitely help you. It tells you the best days to do it. So it says the best days to perform this spell is on a Thursday, Jupiter day. Jupiter is the planet of good fortune, luck, and expansion. Jupiter is the best day to perform spells that boost luck and increase your chance of success in any game of chance or any money spell, period. It has a list of so many spells that you can incorporate in your life with this new year to bring prosperity. And I even put some bonus spells on here, which for Saturday is a day to do like protection work. So I have a spell for like send back to senders. So I put some bonus spells on here, and then a protection with Archangel Michael. So there's so many spells on here. Removing the evil eye spell, so you can remove evil eye in your money and also in your everyday life. New Year home blessing spell, and I know it's been a few days since the new year started, but you can always do a home blessing spell any days of the week. As long as you need it, you could do it. So anyways, guys, this is my book. It's called Crown of Success by Jenny, and it's available on Amazon, the ebook and also the physical copy. So please grab a copy if you're interested in supporting this channel. This is a way to support the channel and to support me as well for putting out, you know, content every day for you guys. So enjoy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this book, and I hope you go and grab your copy, whether it's the ebook or the physical copy. I say have a physical copy, but it's really up to how much, you know, your wallet and what you can afford. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Mwah. This is a shameless plug, so just check out my channel, okay? Love you guys. Mwah.